All right, here we go. Getting you set for another outstanding card of action this weekend. And we're going to jump into some more kind of derby prep races from Turfway Park and beyond. You know, I do about maybe anywhere from 1 to 3 shows per week. I do it all in one day because I don't have time. I have stuff to do every other day. I have work to do. And so I try to get it all done in one day. That's why if there are any scratches or changes, I never go back and give you any alternate selections. We keep it simple, one and done. So let's do that here. We'll get started and we'll jump right into our first of what we think is another Kentucky Derby or possible prep, right? Horse by the name of Baby Max won the Leonatus last year, and he was in the mix for a minute, didn't quite make it, but he is a really, really nice closer that won this race. We'll see what happens this year with these runners going 1 mile on the synthetic on Saturday at Turfway Park. 9 runners. These are all 3-year-olds here, and we've got some familiar names. Of course, Street Beast all the way to the outside, who ran in the Breeders' Cup Turf, is going to be one to figure for sure. But let's kind of start it off by talking about these runners. You got Great White to the inside, debut winner at 6 furlongs at Turfway, stretches out to a mile. Interesting. Reb 5, able to break the maiden at Woodbine on the synthetic, and didn't run poorly at all coming to Turfway last time out. Valiant, Brad Cox, Fernando de la Cruz, Speed, they're trouble. Brazilian, Conizal, got some speed to offer as well. First time on the synthetic. Full effort, closer on the turf, will be motoring for Brad Cox. No Joke Joe, proven closer on the turf and the synthetic. No Joke Joe is going to be a force for sure. I did. Deep closer comes to the synthetic for the first time for Michael Maker. I think has the right running style and enough of a closing kick. We'll see if this one takes to the synthetic. Nice workouts, including a bullet workout over the synthetic. So it does bode well for I did. Jutland, closer, proven over synthetic and turf. And then I mentioned Street Beast, the runner that was my top pick in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf. Ended up running 4th on that particular day. I thought it was a good performance. Coming to the synthetic for the first time, I think he figures. I'm just not quite sure what his running style is, if he's going to be forwardly placed or if he wants to sit back and make a run. You don't know what he's done in the 2 months since that last race, how much he has improved. And I guess we're going to find out, aren't we? But you know what I'm doing here, right? Like, you know my rules with certain riders at Turfway Park. Are you serious? You're going to give me Fernando de la Cruz on a runner with speed that's already proven going a route and proven going a route over the synthetic and trained by Brad Cox? And because Street Beast is here, and because I did has some promise, and because I believe that No Joke Joe is really going to get some play, I think we'll get value on Valiant. I think we'll get 9-2, which is glorious, right? We'll take that all day long. Valiant with my man to get the lead, and that's going to be trouble for everybody else. From there, we move on over to Aqueduct. It's a nice little race. It's called the Ladies Stakes. It's a 1 1/8 main track worth $135,000. Fillies and mares 4 years old and upwards. Weigh the risks to the inside. Man, she's wicked tough. I don't know what they're going to do with her, but she can control every step of the way, and there's nothing they can do about it. Unless, Low Country Magic has some speed, comes off the layoff. If they choose to be assertive, they could be a problem. Our Daydreaming Girl does not have speed, will have to close. Scalable, that runner there is super, super, super dangerous. She's going to be pretty far back, but man, I like her closing kick. Sultry Lass, Presser Stalker, Just Catherine, Presser Stalker, but has some class for sure. Quiet Side definitely has some class. Presser Stalker, and we'll see how much she has improved since she won those stakes events as a 3-year-old. Didn't quite work out for her in the Oaks or any of the other races for that matter. And so we'll see if she's able to do something. Curlin's Girl, rounding out the field to the outside. You know, it wouldn't shock me if she stepped up in this race. I'm just not sure if she is good enough. So that's a good look at what you're working with in this race. Usually I try to find a price. I don't think there's any way they can weigh the risks. Obviously there is a way. I just don't feel confident in the other horses to turn the tables on her. Can I be honest with you? You know what I'm going to say. There's only one way that she loses this race. Manny Franco with a bad ride. That's the only way she loses, and it's very possible. So But I'm going to stick with her. I just think she's just better than the other runners in the race. And I think she's going to be able to control everything. And that's what makes her so dangerous. Weigh the risks is the pick in the ladies' stakes. Wrapping it up, we go to Gulfstream Park. We talked about the Sunshine Turf in the previous show. Now we talk about the Sunshine Sprint with a field of 7 runners in here. And you know, it's an interesting field. Going 6 furlongs. Damon's Mound to the inside. First off, a little bit of a layoff. Has some speed. I don't know if Junior's going to shove from the inside, but they won't be too far off. Raging Fury. Same thing. They won't be too far off, but they won't shove. Keep On Moving is the deep closer. Retashume is another runner. Has some early speed. Probably won't shove. Miss Buchetto, speed. Mario Gutierrez, they are going to the front end. Nothing But Subtle. That's a, you know, they've got the speed because they went pretty fast going 7 furlongs. I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if Nothing But Subtle is forwardly placed. And then there's Big Paradise, presser, stalker kind of runner. But here's the thing. I know I didn't mention a lot of pure gate speed, right? I mentioned some speed and pressers and stalkers, but I believe it'll be enough to set it up. And every jockey colony, you got to have somebody who you just kind of, there's something about them, right? For me, it's obviously Fernando de la Cruz. Anytime he's at Turfway or Fairgrounds or church, anytime he's anywhere, but mainly when he's at Horseshoe Indianapolis or at Turfway, Fernando de la Cruz is the man. End of story. For value. For me on the West Coast, he doesn't get enough mounts, but you know I love Giovanni Franco. He's value, and I think he's a really good rider. Well, in South Florida, it's Miguel Vasquez. He's a really good rider, and he gets value. Even though he's one of the top riders, you still get value on his horses. He's had experience with this runner. I think he knows how to get this runner to settle and make that move. And I think they'll be in the right spot. They won't be too far back. Won't be as far back as they were on October the 11th when they won going 7 furlongs in the slot. They'll probably be more like they were last July, the 12th at Gulfstream Park when they broke the maiden, sitting in that spot. So I think we'll get value because he's this runner's a closer and there's not a tremendous amount of like obvious speed. So they may not get as much support, but I don't care about none of that. I think the runner is very talented, and more importantly, I really like what the rider does. So if everything can come together, that's how you get your value, and that's how things work out. Woohoo! We'll see if it does. All right, that's a wrap on our second show for the week. We've got to get back to work doing our other job, and we'll get back to this soon. In the meantime, in between time, until next time, that's how we do it here on Horse Race Bets. I'm Ken Rudolph. Do me a favor. Good luck, and enjoy whatever you're into.